1862, the second year of the American Civil War. The year began promisingly for the Union as the armies of the Cumberland, Ohio cut their way deep down the Tennessee River, while in the east, the Army of the Potomac make a sweep up to the Confederacy capital of Richmond. But errors on both sides lead to a turnaround of favors and the installation of a new Confederate general, Robert E. Lee. Having staved off annihilation in the Virginia Peninsula, he looks to show the power of his army by crushing a Union force at the Battle of Second Manassas. Lee smells blood and hopes to deliver a crushing blow. The Confederacy wishes to maintain a war of defense, harkening back to the American Revolution, but Lee knows a war of attrition is not one the South can win likely. Lee instead plans to wade across the Potomac and invade the North, setting his sights on the railroad hub of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Along the way, he hopes to win support from the slave state of Maryland, which the Confederacy believes is just a Confederate state in disguise. In Washington, D.C., though, there was much going on out west. The news everyone would hear were about the defeats in the east. President Lincoln now gets word of two Confederate armies advancing north, one into Kentucky and one into Maryland. All that stands between he and the Confederates is a shattered, demoralized Army of the Potomac. Though not his favorite, Lincoln turns once again to George B. McClellan to take the ropes and restore the army. McClellan's return to command quickly boosts the morale of the Union Army. Lincoln is banking on McClellan's to act quick and stop Lee before he reaches Pennsylvania and gain a decisive victory, one that is both tactical and political. European powers are grown restless by a shortage of southern cotton thanks to Union blockades. If the situation does not change, they might intervene on behalf of the Confederacy. Lincoln wishes to counteract by declaring slaves in the rebellious states free, turn the conflict from a war on states' rights to a war to end slavery, and no European power would want to be seen as advocates for slavery. McClellan began moving his army lethargic like usual, but on September 13th, while the 27th Indiana Volunteers encamped on just recently vacated Confederate camping grounds, Corporal Barton Mitchell uncovers a bundle of cigars. Unwrapping them, he discovers a piece of paper inside, Special Orders 191, detailing the process of Lee dividing up the Army of Northern Virginia. As McClellan received the orders, the corps of Thomas Stonewall Jackson had surrounded the Union garrison at Harper's Ferry, covering the rear of Lee's army. By the 15th, the garrison surrendered, the largest surrender of U.S. troops in the 19th century. But the victory was short-lived, as the day prior, McClellan struck elements of Lee's army in the gaps along South Mountain. The all-day battle was fierce and sent the Army of Northern Virginia reeling to the west. McClellan, ever cautious, took his time to secure his lines on South Mountain before advancing, giving time for Lee to fall back and take up defensive positions. Lee's army numbers just 40,000 of peak strength, but at least half of his force was spread across a wide front. He called for all of his men to fall upon a small farming town known as Sharpsburg, hoping to take advantage of the small Antietam Creek east of town, perfect for defense. But Lee would have to buy time and hold out against a Union army numbering nearly 90,000. The stage was being set throughout the day and night of September 16th as soldiers of both flags trickled down upon the opposite sides of the Antietam Creek. With Lee's back pressed against one of the widest rivers in the United States, there was going to be no retreat. His army was going to fight to the bloody end. The stage had been set for one of history's bloodiest single days.